going on, Bulls fans? Happy Monday to all of you guys joining us for today's show. And coming up on today's show, could the Chicago Bulls be trading for Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo this summer? Well, we're going to break it down on today's edition of the Bulls Report. As you start reading the tea leaves, it starts to make a little sense of why Giannis could want out of Milwaukee and why the Bulls could be possibly one of his top trade destinations. But before we dive into it, I want to get you guys a look here at a new sub-battle we have going on here at Chat Sports. We're going to be taking on the Heat Report, and it's more likely than not that the Bulls will be squaring off with the Miami Heat in that 9 versus 10 play-in game. So if you guys want to, not only beat the Heat on the court in the play-in tournament, but off the court here within the walls at Chat Sports, go down there, hit that subscribe button. Hopefully we can beat them to see which channel picks up 100 subscribers first. So hit that subscribe button today, and let's dive into it. So why could Giannis want out of Milwaukee? So if you guys missed this news from about a week ago, Shams Charania tweeted this out saying the Milwaukee Bucks, Damian Lillard, has sustained a deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot in his right calf. Lillard is on blood-thinning medication, which has stabilized the blood clot and will continue with regular testing. He is out for an indefinite period of time. So, first off, hope all is well with Damian Lillard. Obviously a very serious situation, but I wanted to go look and see how the Bucks have fared without Dame in the lineup, and they're on a 4-game skid right now. So the Bucks past 4 games without Dame in the lineup. They lost to the Phoenix Suns. They lost to the Denver Nuggets. 2 tough road games, I hear you, but also losing to the Knicks at home, and then last night getting embarrassed by the Atlanta Hawks, where Risa Shea had a monster performance. Really looked good. A little side note there, Risa Shea looking like a legit player here in the NBA, but they lost 145 to 124. And you may be saying, well, what does this have to do with Giannis? Dame being out, the Bucks, not playing good basketball. Well, this is nothing new here. Giannis has made it crystal clear. If he doesn't feel like he can go win a championship in Milwaukee with the Bucks, he will want out. And with this whole Damian Lillard experiment, pretty much being a disaster for Milwaukee with both them being hurt last year in the playoffs and now this year with Giannis potentially rolling into the Eastern Conference playoffs without Damian Lillard, then you had the whole thing going on with Bobby Portis and the PED suspension. Like, it's not looking good in Milwaukee. So if Giannis starts, thinking big picture of his NBA career, the man's 30 years old, I could see him possibly requesting a trade this offseason. Now, where do the Bulls fall into it? Well, if you guys remember, Giannis 2 years ago had this to say about the Chicago Bulls. I think anybody who asks that question that plays basketball, if he said no, he'd be a liar. It's a team that won multiple championships. It's a team that one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player to ever play this game, played for. So it's a no-brainer. Everybody would love to play for Chicago. And I wanted to get up here and say, guys, Giannis is going to be a Bull this summer. But I'm not trying to get my hopes up too much, but this would be absolute chills. Like, if I had to think of a perfect forward to put next to a Josh Giddey, Kobe White backcourt, and also with Modest Buzelis on the other wing, like, Giannis would be that perfect player. Like, I was just running through, just kind of scenarios in my head of, like, maybe a guy like Bam, maybe a guy like Jaren Jackson, a defensive-minded forward, I think would be ideal next to this Bulls young, explosive, offensive backcourt that they have. But if I had to go, big fish swinging here, Giannis would be that guy. And this guy's put up ridiculous numbers over the last 4 seasons. I mean, he's legitimately averaging 30 and 12 over the last 4 years. And he's always been averaging around 6 assists per game. He's been very efficient the last 2 years, shooting 60+% from the field. We know who he is defensively. He plays his tail off every single night. He also brings a culture and just an aggressive mentality to a team because, this guy, he busts his tail every time he, steps out there on the NBA hardwood. And, listen, an ideal situation for the Bulls would be him to, 1, ask out of Milwaukee, and 2, request the Chicago Bulls. Like, if we get a bombshell report this summer that it's like, oh, Giannis wants out of Milwaukee and his preferred destinations are like the Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls, and if the Bulls are on that list, I would have a lot of faith in the Bulls being able to be that team to get a deal done. Now, what could a trade look like? Because tough to kind of formulate a trade idea here, but this is the best I was able to come up with. Now, you are going to have to give up 3 first-round picks, and the Bulls getting their protections off their own first-round picks for that Zach LaVine trade is huge. Also, quick little pat myself on the back here. I was saying I was completely wrong about rooting for the Bulls to lose games, and I admitted to that on the last video. The one thing that a lot of you guys got on me for was me saying the Bulls should trade Zach LaVine for nothing. You'll be a better basketball team without him. And you guys got down in the comments. You guys were killing me. You don't know basketball, yada, yada, yada. I was wrong about the Bulls, wanting them to tank, but also I was 100% right on Zach LaVine. But, side note there. But the trade idea I cooked up. So it'd be 3 first-round picks, all unprotected. I think that's the starting point for this deal. So 2025, this upcoming year, 2027, and 2029. You can't trade first-round picks in back-to-back seasons, so that's why they're spaced out as such. But you do want to include Ayo Dosunmu. I decided to choose Ayo over Kobe White in this deal. You would give them Nikola Vucevic, and you would also give them Patrick Williams. So, young wing, whatever you think of Patrick Williams, I still think you could throw him in the trade. It'll at least just help match salary. You'll be able to move off Vucevic's contract, which would be huge. And then also Ayo, give them another young guard. But 3 first-round picks, a young guard, a young wing, and a veteran center in Nikola Vucevic. I don't think this is enough to get it done, but I think this is a good starting point for the Bulls. Then you would create an unreal starting 5 next year in Chicago, which you would also be one of the biggest starting lineups in the league. I mean, Josh Giddey, 6'8", 6'9". Kobe White, 6'4", 6'5". Modest Buzella, 6'9", 6'10", and then Giannis, a true 7-footer. Then I just had to throw in Jalen Smith at the center position. You could also go Zach Collins there. But I would love this starting lineup. I mean, this would be one of the better starting lineups in the league. And also, I would like Giannis next to these young guys like Buzelis, White, and Giddey, just kind of showing them kind of how to be a pro, how to win an NBA championship. And is this lineup good enough to win a ship? TBD. A lot of it would have to come down to the development of Buzelis, the development of Kobe White, and especially Josh Giddey here. But if you would have this lineup with a good bench, with Trey Jones coming off, with a guy like Lonzo Ball, I think this could be a power play for the Bulls where maybe they're not truly competing for a championship next season, but they're at least in the thick of things in the Eastern Conference. So would you accept this trade? 3 first-round picks, Ayo, Vooch, Patrick Williams, and the Bulls would get Giannis and Chris Livingston just to help, remove a roster spot from the Milwaukee Bucks. Give me an A for accept or give me a D for decline. Now, I do want to dive into the Bulls-Mavericks game from this past Saturday. It was a tough loss for the Bulls, but I'll give you guys my thoughts on that here in a second. But first, I do want to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Now, if you guys download the PrizePicks app today and use promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, Patrick, what is PrizePicks? Well, PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. And now with the Cubs and the White Sox starting off their seasons, if you guys want to create a lineup for either of those baseball teams, PrizePicks is a great way to do so. You guys can put your baseball knowledge to the test, or hey, even if you want to create one for a Bulls game, or even a college basketball game this weekend down in San Antonio, please do it with PrizePicks. Put your basketball or baseball knowledge to the test and create a PrizePicks lineup today. So download the PrizePicks app today and use promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. A massive shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, let's talk about this matchup the Bulls had with the Dallas Mavericks. Really disappointing loss. I know the Mavs had AD. Bulls were still favored in this game by 2.5, 3 points. That's what the line ended up ending at. But I honestly just thought this was the definition of a game where the Bulls just didn't hit enough shots. And you were kind of fighting an uphill battle the entire second half. You made it close late, but you still weren't able to be effective enough down the stretch of this game. Now, Kevin Huerter, 1 of 5 from downtown. He was just missing, some shots he's been making for the last couple of months. One quick note here on the center, Nikola Vucevic. You guys know I can't stand this guy. He was awful against the Dallas Mavericks. Just call it like it is. He was getting his ass kicked by Anthony Davis, whether that was inside, outside game, no matter what it was. Anytime AD had Vooch on him, he had blood. He was like a shark with blood in the water. It was it was one of the worst games Vooch has ever played. And, as much as I try to, fully buy into this Bulls team, just still when I see Vooch out there just playing like a bonehead, it really, really does frustrate me. But I do want to highlight the man of the hour from that Mavs game. Modest Buzelis, clap it up for the rookie here. 28 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 of 17 from the field, 5 of 7 from downtown, which was awesome to see. But I love the pressure he puts on the rim. He's a freak athlete, man. We saw the handle on full display Saturday night versus the Mavs. And, the more I watch him, every single game I feel like he has gotten better. Like, even from a couple months ago, first time he was starting to get real rotational minutes for the Bulls. I mean, he kind of felt like a fish out of water at points. But, now with where he's at, he feels confident. He feels like he's really coming in to his own here in the NFL. So, nothing but love for what Modest did against the Mavericks. He also had a favorable matchup. They're putting P.J. Washington on Josh Giddey, so I love Modest taking advantage of that. But I thought he played his tail off yet again. Freak athlete, and I'm going to stick with this comparison. I see a lot of Evan Mobley in Modest Buzelis, 6'10". Maybe he's got a little more handle, play more on the outside than Mobley. Mobley more of an inside player, but man, if he can develop that three-point shot, we got a special one here with the Bulls. And Kobe White, the March of Kobe. I don't know what it is about this guy playing in the month of March, but averaging 30 points per game, had 25 and 11 against the Dallas Mavericks. I thought he was fantastic. And again, the one thing I love about Kobe is him just using his body more, getting into the lane when he has a smaller guard on him. He can just get to a quick little bump, fade, get to the floater. Like, he has everything in his bag right now. And, I feel like Kobe, just kind of what we were saying with Buzelis, when this guy is playing with confidence, he is a different man out there on the basketball court. When he's stepping into those threes, when he's coming off those pick and rolls, trying to score, trying to be aggressive. Now, do I want to see Kobe up his game in the playmaking department? 100%. I still feel like he had a couple wrong reads where he turned that corner, kind of left his feet a little bit. He had a quick, pass out, but he wasn't able to get it done. But that's really the only negative I have for Kobe White. Truly one of the best scorers we have in the NBA, and it's just awesome to see what he's really turned into. Now, Josh Giddey. Bad night for our man Josh Giddey. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 of 12 from the field. Now, they put P.J. Washington on him. He was picking him up full court, and he was just doing a number on Josh Giddey. But I do think watching that game versus the Mavs, like, that's great film for Giddey to watch. And also, I can't wait to watch him play in Oklahoma City tonight, a little revenge game for the Giddler. But, I do think with him, if he's going to take his next step, it's going to be, how can he get easier shots for himself? Because he's great at beating people off the dribble. I just want to maybe see him add more of a floater game, like when he does get to that restricted area right, before it, where he can kind of get the smaller guard on his hip, and then he can either just get to that floater or lob it up to a big, which is also another reason why that Malawach guy or Derek Queen of Maryland, both those guys would be ideal draft picks for the Bulls this upcoming year. And then good old passive Patrick Williams. I don't know what to say anymore about him. This guy will have games where I still see it. I still see the flashes. But then he'll have a game against the Mavericks like he did. No points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. You're making $18 million per year. You got to be better than this. And plus the fact that you still don't feel him defensively as much as you would hope so. Like if Patrick Williams was rolling out there every night and it was like, yeah, we got the next Kawhi Leonard defensively on that side of the floor, I would have no problem with him scoring 0 points. But again, if he is just an average defender and he is a huge net negative offensively, like, why are you playing him? And I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd rather see Dalen Terry get more minutes from the Bulls than what Patrick Williams has put on display. It was a quick turnaround from that Lakers game. I understand. High emotions in that one, but still, there's always just a little more you're asking from Patrick Williams, and he just still fails to deliver it. So, not really too concerned about the loss to the Dallas Mavericks. Bulls, 15-point underdogs tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder, so we'll see how that plays out. But, hey, we appreciate you guys watching today's show. If you guys made it to the end, hit me with a C red down below in the comment section. Super excited for the play-in. I'm going to be fully rooting for the Bulls. I would not be rooting for losses. Hopefully they can get into the playoffs, make some noise, build that culture. But, like always, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, also, I'm on Twitter, at Pat Sieps is the Twitter handle. Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow right back. See you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.